Hey, it's 5:04 p.m., August 16th, 2022. I have been dealing with a lot of stuff, shadowy stuff, and I've been seeing a lot of weird visions, a lot of really strange imagery that's that I'm not really supposed to tell you, but it has to do with the zodiac wheel area of Libra, Virgo, and Scorpio, and how it's one being, like Ishtar or Inanna or whatever. And I've had recently an encounter with 3 women, but they're not Virgo, Libra, or Scorpio. These women, like, they were people that I saw today on the way out. Well, 2 women and 1 man. And the guy, he was a large set person in a big white t-shirt. And he mumbled something about tux being in my hand. He's like, that something you don't see around something that dog or here. Like, you don't see that dog around here or something. So I couldn't hear him. I was crossing the street. And then the 2 women. One of them was offering me soaps that were candles, like candle soap, scented water lilies for like a bath where they like float. There was a big stand outside of a pharmacy. And the other one was so busy looking at everything around in her like area. This was in another location. That it was almost as if like she was split between 2 parts. Like she was balancing 2 different things at the same time that are 2 completely different spectrums, 2 different polarities. And when I came back home, I was playing with tux, and it was like it kept reminding me of a serpent playing with a lion. Like how my hand was moving around him, playing with him, wrestling, like picking him up and rolling him around, and, just riling him up. And when I was playing with him and I was listening to a video, and she was saying things about family. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to call my family. So I paused the video, I paused playing with him, and I just started, like, I called my parents, my sibling. And we had conversations, and it went, normal. And I went back to sit down, like, sat back down, and I heard so audibly inside of me, and I saw the zodiac, the stars, and a woman wrapped in a snake. Like the snake was rolling around over her. And the lion was like just zonked out asleep by her feet. She was floating over the earth, and she had these like birds flying all around her. I couldn't tell if they were birds or flowers or stars. There were so many colors. And over her head, it was like the solar system we're in. Like they were just rotating around her head. And in her hand, she had a bird that was on fire, but she also had wings, the woman. And in her other hand, she was holding 2 scales. A scale, like the thing with the 2 things. And the scale was just teetering over and over and over. And when I looked at this scale, it showed a moment that was stuck in time. It was like a Polaroid picture. And I apologize for the stuttering. I'm having a really... It feels like the water of what I'm saying is flowing over a lot of pebbles. Like there's a lot of rocks in this stream. And it's because I'm having to really, really be specific about these words because I don't want anyone to think I'm talking about them. The scales and the moment in time they were stuck in was a do I share this with memory with them to make the story better or not? Well, the snake wrapped around up to her neck. Mind you, I'm sitting here thinking I'm just, pausing and having a cup of coffee while I was having this vision, and it's crystal clear. It's fucking ridiculous. The moment in time that was on the scale, that was holding the scale down, was fractalized among all of the people on the planet. These people had the same trauma. When I looked and I saw my trauma in that moment of time where everybody was feeling the same musical note being played, so to speak, it was a moment where I saw a movie with my mom where it was the movie Jesus of Nazareth, where he was being crucified. And Mother Mary was standing by the cross and she saw him, like she saw what happened. And then he saw what she was witnessing. And in that moment, my empathy like overloaded and my throat felt like it busted out. I don't know how else to explain it. It felt like I blew a fuse in my chakra system. I think you can still hear it in my voice. It's like I think somebody called it holographic sounding. I don't know. That was then, and it felt like I swallowed an apple. And when I was being shown this, my mind, in the back of my mind, I'm remembering the story of Adam and Eve eating that apple and the knowledge of good and evil. And then I heard the woman, like the conversation, remember what you forgot. And for that, right then, I realized, oh my God, the fear of losing people was imprinted on people at such a young age. And we had no way to express any of the fear and pain and grief of the loss of family. That we'll never see them again at some point. And then, because we were children at this point, we had active access to our past memories, which means we kind of knew who we were in a past life and who the people in our lives were. So not only are we mourning that they don't recognize us, but we were then in that moment was now also mourning the fact that one day these people will age and die, or they will see us die, and they will feel pain because of the love we shared. I remembered at that age, and I think I was 6 or 7, sitting with my mom watching Jesus of Nazareth in Germany. I hadn't even remembered that was a thing. That's how deep I blocked it out. And today, in the recent few months, where I've had to face the mortality of a lot of these fragile people, I've realized what I've done in my own life to really minimize the pain others feel regarding my presence or the lack thereof. And I think the reason why I'm being asked to share this with you is because a lot of people are doing things subconsciously due to childhood trauma, as we all know, but we don't recognize, or we kind of avoid this trauma. Someday, we're going to bury people, or we're going to be buried. And that's fact. We try to avoid it and say we're going to some kingdom where there's immortality and eternal life. But I'm living fucking proof. From 1950 something, when I was 47 back then, and now I'm nearing 42. I was alive then, and then I died. And the people in my life then lived and died. and we came back here, and they didn't remember. So when we leave here and we go to the next place, they're probably not going to remember this place. So who we know them as now, your mother, your father, your children, your friend, your ex, your nemesis, your whatever. In your next life, they could be your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your ex, your nemesis, your boss, your mailman. And you wouldn't even know. Or you would, and they wouldn't know. Can you fathom that grief? Because your child self heard that note, and it echoes in the castle of your soul. This tone of, one day, no matter what happens, you'll be abandoned. Or you will do the abandoning without even knowing you're doing it. One day people won't be who they are, but you'll know. Or you won't even remember. But you'll always remember that you don't remember something. A face, a name, a scent, a person and who they are to you. How much you love them. It'll become a memory. Do you remember this wound? I know it's not easy. And I'm not going to cuddle you. Because that's your job and you have to take care of your inner child. But I'm the one that loves you enough to say, hey, you see that wound over there? It's the one that's ruining your life that you're not looking at and no one else is telling you. Can you go and put a band-aid on it? And then really lick your wounds. Clean them. Put yourself back together in that one spot that you're avoiding. Remember, Virgo, Scorpio, and Libra were one zodiac sign previously. In the Celtic symbol astrology, it's different. In the Babylonian, it's also different. In the tropical, they're listed as Virgo, Libra, and Scorpio. But the original is Ishtar, or the goddess of the stars, the one who painted the sky with stars. It was that corner of the sky. It was split in 4 sections. Each season had its own god or goddess, or an archetype that embodied both male and female, which were pretty much 99.9% of them. Because there's no division in divinity. So, just a plot twist, most of your gods are hermaphrodites. Because that's what God is, male and female. The signs of Leo, Cancer, and Gemini were also one sign, the mother with the 2 children and the big lion at her feet, the goddess and the serpent and the flaming bird next to her with the scales. And in the winter months, I think it was considered November, December, and January. I think so. Those were the crone, the ice mother, the grandmother of time, the one who helps things rest and the one who tends things to regrow for the maiden, which was around March, April, and May. And then her April showers brought May flowers. Because spring and, March, April, and May were spring. Because January and February kind of seems like it shouldn't really be there. August doesn't really seem like it should be there either. So if you remove those two and cut the wheel in 4 sections, each month kind of has, each corner would have 3 months, basically, give or take a few days. Hence the X symbol, like X-Men, or the X chromosome. And then the 8-pointed star of Venus goes on top of that to break it down into the zodiac pattern, which is what you also see in the human eye. You can look into iridiology for some of you to see what's going on inside your body through your eyes. What else can I tell you? One of the hardest things you're ever going to have to do is realize your family and your parents and other people, they wear masks. No one is who you think they are. I could tell you I'm exactly who I am from my past life to this life, and you wouldn't believe me. You think I'm joking, or I'm just a crazy person. It doesn't matter, does it? I can point exactly what the problem is for you. I can point at it and be like, this is the problem, specific pinpoint. And you still will brush it off in some way. I can describe something to you in absolute detail, pixel by pixel. And still you wouldn't comprehend what I'm showing you because it's not multidimensional. So recognize and comprehend that what I say to you is for you to translate through your processing system called your 6 senses. You process the information coming to you through your screen or your speakers, through your physical structure, which is inside of your soul. And then it processes into your subconscious and your superconscious and all that. And then your physical form is changed by that information, depending on what your soul approves and what you're ready for. This is why I also tell you when you repeatedly watch these videos, there is information within information, regardless of how many times you watch the same video. It's just how it is. It's like this. No matter how many ways you look at this, you will always find a new color. I'm going to pull you 3 cards, and then I'm going to go. Some of you are so afraid of wisdom. You stand on false knowledge written by other people, on boats in the sky reaching for the moon. And the moon reaches back to you, and then you see it. and you're afraid. 44, 22, 11. You've diminished what you've attracted because you saw what you were doing to other people while you were painting the stars, or you were looking at those who painted the stars. You gained some kind of wisdom, self-reflecting, and it brought fear into you somehow. An overwhelming sense of emotions that hadn't been accessed or looked at. And if you focus, you realize that all those emotions are contained within your soul. You don't have to do anything to process them. You don't have to do anything to heal anything. Just be with yourself. You went through all that stuff that you went through. All those ravens pecking away at you. Eventually you became like a raven, but inside of you, the golden egg. It was protecting something. You see this gold here? See the gold here? You had to be the fearful one. You had to be the black sheep or the black goat or the trapped bird. You had to be surrounded by these beings that were not good for you. You had to see yourself in different genders, in different forms, in different lives. You had to see people walk away. You had to see people come towards you. You have to learn to trust yourself. Because at any moment, any of those stars, any of those people could become one of these birds that you have to try to control. Because if you don't, they just peck away. So you sing and dance while you secretly protect this inner child so that you can transform into who you really are. So this attraction, you point to the moon and you call to it and you say, oh, I wish I had this. Oh God, give me this. Oh God, I need that. Oh God, thank you for this or that. Or, oh God, I hate you for this. How could you do this to me? You don't even exist to me. Wah, go away. Doesn't matter. It's all valid. God still loves you. Because God knows, deep down inside, you are the mother of yourself. And you are within the void. And yes, it's scary. But that golden egg is still within you. That new earth is you. And you can be that right now. You just have to stop worrying about the rest. It's about you. They're just the people on that planet. You are the planet. You are the void. You are the light. You are the moon, the stars. You are the children of God. So why bother? When the key to all of it is this. Brings light to the darkness. Fills the void. This is what's in there. Have faith and know that you are giving birth to peace. But first, see the wisdom in those around you and why they do what they do. For just a moment, face that fear that maybe, just maybe, they're doing exactly as they know to do to get you to get here so that you can do this. And break yourself free of these over-imposing boundaries you placed on yourself because you were afraid to be happy. Because they taught you it's scary to do so. That you have to suffer for their benefit. Some used love as a weapon. Some of you used love as a weapon. Some of you have to learn how to have more boundaries. Some of you need to learn how to have less boundaries for yourself so that you can stand up. Remember I was telling you about the masquerade? Everybody wearing a mask. But deep down inside, they're all pretending to be the same thing. The head bitch in charge. There's only one. There's wisdom. There's the word. The way. The will. The dream. The truth. The light. Peace. Faith. And the void. It's all there. And it's all waiting for you to do this. Because you know that even that emotion that you feel, and you call it fear, it's kind of like fuel moving through an engine, and the kinetic energy that the car would feel as the fuel moves through the pipes. If the car was sentient, it would probably sense it as a fearful energy because something's moving through it, forcing it to do something. So utilize that fear as your fuel, because there's something growing inside you. Some of you physically, some of you spiritually. Either way, it's teaching you. If you knew that everyone is doing something that either you asked them to do or that God is commanding them to do without them even having a choice about it, would you still play the same old sad song of your past? Or would you look at all of them as the most amazing teachers you've ever had, and that they love you so much they were willing to betray you and walk away from you? They were willing to destroy you so that you could see you're unbreakable. They were willing to break this bubble you hid yourself in so that you could be this. Wouldn't you do the same for family? I don't condone violence, not after everything I've experienced. But let me tell you this. Sometimes there are some conditions called hysteria among the human species and other animals. Other sentient humanoid animals too, and beings. There's something called hysteria, where they lose their fucking mind. And the only way to get them to stop is to bonk them with something, to trigger a pain response. Have you noticed that? Have you ever seen that in a movie or in a book or in your own life, where someone has completely lost their shit for some reason? Like they're not even saying anything, they're not doing anything, they're not being violent. It's just pure hysteria. There's no anything. It's similar to a piano and all the notes being played at once. You can't pick out what anything is. It's just hysterics. The only thing you can do is to shock the nervous system. Like if you had one of those, remember those palm handshake rings where they buzz in your hand? Remember the feeling of being buzzed in your hand with a fucking buzzer? That's what some of you require. That's what I required, to be shaken out of the false belief of the illusion that I forced myself to believe that people were something different than who they are showing me to be. Like someone's giving me, their painting and they're saying, this is my painting, this is who I am on a painting. And I'm going, oh, okay, well, I think you can do, you can be a better person. Let's work together. And it never works and out that way, does it? It's kind of like hiring somebody who thinks they're completely overqualified and done with learning, and you're hiring them for a brand new position, and they don't want to learn. They think they already know what they're doing. Would you hire them or no? You wouldn't, right? Well, the entire human race is on that same wavelength, where they're not doing who or behaving as who they are because they're kind of buddy to each other, looking at each other in each other's energy. And they all think that the next person is the next person, when really the next person is an imprint of the previous person, because they're all smushed together like sardines in a can. Energetically, there's plenty of room on the planet. I don't know why everybody's congregated to cities like this. It's ridiculous, honestly. Do you not want to stretch your legs and have a yard to run in? Anyway, so the human race has needed like zaps to wake them up. Now you guys are getting a different kind of zap from me. From Source too. From God too. And these zaps are to remind you, hey, remember your humanity. Do you remember when you shut it off? Do you remember how empathic and kind and how much love you felt back then? It doesn't matter if you scoff at it now or if you're still a good person or whatever you are. It doesn't matter. Do you remember back then, specifically before the age of 7, how much you felt love throughout your entire being? Before it seemed like your body grew too big for the amount of love you carried to fill every cell of your body with it. Do you remember that? Some people didn't have that. Some people had to be the husband or the wife to their single or married unhappy parent before the age of 3. Some children were humiliated and shamed for even having a dirty diaper. Some children were even mocked for their physical form that they had no control over. Their bodily functions that they have no idea what they are, but the parent does. And the parent's judging the child the way that a parent would judge an adult. Because they're seeing the child see a dance on a TV and they're dancing like Michael Jackson, and the parent's like, oh my God. Or they're dancing like Beyonce, and the parent's like, oh my God. Or, they're teenagers dressed in a weird way and not slutty, but like an emo way or a Renaissance nerd kind of Lord of the Rings way. And they're like, oh my God, what are you wearing? It has nothing to do with whether you look good or not. It has to do with how it makes them look and how much work they have to do. There are some parents who love their children more than their own life. There are parents who are obligated to their children more than anything. Then there are those parents who project onto their children and say that their children are the problem. Then the same can be said about the children. And these things, as a Virgo, as a Cancer, as a Leo, as a Scorpio, as a Libra, as a Gemini, as a Taurus, as a Pisces, as any sign, you have to know these things. They are basic, fundamental human archetypes you have to be aware of. and basic human behaviors that people enact in that they don't talk about because they're ashamed of them. But you knew at a young age exactly this grief, this love, the loss of it, and why it would happen, didn't you? We all did. Don't say you didn't. But we're not given the chance to be empathic towards the pain of others after that point, are we? It kind of becomes, oh, this hurts too much. No one's around to help us. Let's shut it off. And then those who have the support and they have the love and they get the nurturing, they grow up never knowing the blessings they have that they take for granted. From their own messy rooms to a laundry machine in their house, to food being there and not having to worry about the price tag or how to cook it or if the stove works, to not having to worry about cooking or cleaning. It's like some children have it so good. Other children had to take over their father or their mother's role because they weren't there. They just weren't there. Or they were, but for the other siblings, and they made it very obvious. All of this stuff is part of the human story. It's part of God's story. It's part of your story. We all get to experience it in different ways, like phases of a moon. But we're all still looking at that same circle. And remember what was said before. She'll save you. But first, you have to get up and do the right thing by you, so that the vines that are growing around you and are inevitably going to grow around you and bury some of us, if not all of us. Some get burned, some get buried, some get put, they go with the tides. Some get memorialized in trees and, pencils or seeds or whatever. It's your choice what you do with your body whenever you go, if you decide to go. But while you're here, wisdom requires you to blossom, because you can't have true wisdom while you still do the same thing. And this does not mean that if you're sitting at home watching Netflix or playing video games all day, that you're not doing your work if you know you're doing your inner work. You can be sitting there zoned out, staring at the fucking ceiling, but on the inside of you, you're traveling the universes and replaying and looking at everything and learning. But now we get to play. Because there's two ways to look at it, isn't there? In one way, everyone abused you, lied to you, broke you, and they did it to benefit from you. In another way, they all did it to get you to become this. Because they love you and they want nothing but the best for you. And the only difference is, do you look at it as fear or fuel? And then what do you do? What do you do when the world collapses around you? And you realize you weren't even looking at the world in color. What you perceive it as isn't even color. Because you're still not seeing all this. Around all this. Like that. At every single thing you look at. When you get there, let me know. But if you're there, then you're on that other side, reaching a hand to the people on this side. And if that's the case, some of you really are reaching too far in, and some of you are not reaching far enough in. And that's still all part of the plan. But are you going to choose to let that fear push you through? Or are you going to let those birds keep you strung up behind you? Those birds being the past. The coulda, woulda, shoulda that you still can, but you don't. The people who lie and cheat and abuse and talk shit about you, but you still give to them. Oh yeah, you can come fly over there and eat from this. Sure. Yeah, you were shitting on me just 5 minutes ago. But yeah, you can have that. Or are you going to be those are yours. Fuck off, birds. Your choice. Both are valid. But if you're waiting for the songs to show up, let me tell you. This guy, this guy, your divine hoogledy whatever gobbledygoo, the guy you're like pining over and manifesting and writing in notebooks over, whatever the fuck you people do now. This guy, yeah, he's part of the same people that really fuck with you. Plot twist. He already knows who you are, what you're doing. He knows exactly how you're sitting in your house. He can see you picking your nose. He can hear you farting. He can see it all. Every single thing. He or she. They can see it all. You know what happens and what this guy's waiting for, or girl? For you, or for this to happen. Because this guy don't want none of this. No, 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 no. We don't want that. This bubble power, this boundary power, you have to learn when to turn it on and off. Water doesn't go into bubbles all the time. Water flows like a tidal wave, an ocean. It drowns a planet. It does not say, I need boundaries. It says, watch out, I'm coming through, get out of my way. So this guy isn't waiting for that. He's waiting for that. And that, thank you, Jeebus, is that. And that's your mama, your real mom, your real dad. She gave birth to all those gods up there in their little, lovely little thing. And he's part of that, connected to her. And then he shows up somehow, like you, in physical form. But in order for that, remember the first card, where is it? For that attraction to occur, this guy needs, because he's looking for this, he's looking for this. It's kind of like a dog with a scent. If you're not this, and you're still in this, which you should be in this 24/7, honestly, but you need to know how to do this, so that you can do this, instead of doing this in front of this. While feeling this, while you have that growing all over you and saying, hey, hey, hey there, hey there, little people. It's gonna be okay. You just have to trust those little birds who are pecking at you, because they're helping you be this. Look at how beautiful that is. Look at how gorgeous you are when you take action towards what you really are meant to be doing. whatever that is for you. Whether it's playing video games and decorating a house in a video game, or it's gardening, or it's writing something, or singing something, or cleaning something, taking care of yourself. As long as it's you with you, nothing else. You dancing with the universe in threads of fate. Look at all those colors. Look at all these colors. All these colors you don't see because you're busy looking at something. Is there hair on the armpits? Is there hair over there on the face? Does it got a penis? Does it got money? Is it cheating on me? Is it a baby daddy? Is it a fucking global something? I don't fucking know what you guys are even dealing with. The only fucking thing I watch is Netflix. I don't even know. I don't even know. I'm just gonna say I don't even know. Some of you have been through so much, so fucking much, fucking ridiculous. How much more are you gonna take? How much more? How much more are you going to do really terrible things to people? For some of you, how much more are you going to, as a species, watch each other suffer without lending a hand to each other? Because you come up with excuses as to why you shouldn't. How much more are you going to pretend you give a fuck about people that you don't? How much more are you going to pretend to be parent or child to a parent or child that doesn't look at you as its parent or child? Because it doesn't treat you that way. They show you they don't like you. How much more are you going to look at an ex or at a next person that you're dating, or you're fucking one and you're on the phone looking on Grindr for another one? With some of you, have like 3 or 4 dates in one day. Some of you have so many STDs you don't even know what the fuck to do with yourselves. There's like demons floating around your fucking butt cracks. And you guys don't even recognize the shit you talk about other people is about your own selves. But instead you mock and judge other people, and then when it's done to you guys, you go, oh, no, what a bitch. No, we're equal. We're family. And I'm seeing family behave like muck. You cheat on each other? How shameful. Sorry, am I shaming you? Well, maybe you shouldn't cheat on each other. That's not a foundation to build a future on, or a tomorrow on, or the next moment on. Pretending you love your child isn't okay. Pretending that you care about people and you're helping them when you're really not isn't okay. Getting help from people and not giving anything back in return isn't okay. Using people for money, for food, for using yourself, your body for benefiting just nothing but addictions isn't okay. I mean, if you're gonna go sell your body, at least buy a nice couch or a house or something. If you're gonna be cheating, at least be genuine and honest. Hey, darling person I'm with, I'm gonna cheat on you. I'm being honest. I don't like not being honest. Blah blah blah. Have fucking balls or ovaries to be honest. Like, why paint an image of yourself? Why wear a mask of yourself as something that, oh, you don't cheat. Oh, you have a normal, boring 9 to 5 job. Oh, you this, you that. Okay, you're live action role playing, you know, God in form, and you're pretending to be someone. I get it. But that someone doesn't have to be an asshole. It's very simple. You don't need to steal from people. You don't need to lie. I don't care if you are a god, if you are the source of creation itself. I do not care if you're a spirit guide, an ancestor, or a descendant, an ex, a co-worker, a mailman, a garbage cleaner, or a dung beetle. I don't give a fuck. You do not disrespect another version of yourself or yourself by allowing people and others to keep taking from you, or to keep giving to others while they keep taking, and there is no one filling your own cup, not even you. Do not betray yourself. Don't do it. There is a time and place in humanity, and it's been almost a century now, if not more. I mean, God, since the Civil War times, it's kind of been like one drawn out mindfuck. Actually, since a few thousand years ago. Ugh. And you know, in all my time, I have seen the kindness of humanity get diminished so deeply, and so far, the kindness is seen as the enemy, or as weakness. The different is seen as scary. That individuality is seen as wrong, and copying each other is seen as right. That stealing from people you don't like is okay, or hurting others is okay. Especially when you're not even defending yourself. And then having to defend yourself. Like, how fucking pathetic. Excuse me, you're God in form and you're threatening me? Are you an idiot? Are you dumb? Like, who are you threatening? Yourself? Why would you want to end your own experience from this perspective, dumbass? I don't care if I'm talking to God or if I'm talking to a fucking goat. Why do something so dumb and reckless to yourselves? Some people think addictions are cigarettes and marijuana and, you know, just sloth and gluttony and whatever the fuck else. No. True addiction is thinking you can lie to God. And you create alter egos and personalities and think, oh, what we're doing is justified in the grand scheme of things. Oh, the Elohim told us to do it. Oh, the reptilians told us to do it. Oh, the Pleiadians did this. Oh, it's a channeled message this. Enough. You chose this. You chose to steal those things. You chose to have that child. You chose to run away. You chose to let people treat you in a way and didn't speak up for yourself. You chose all these things, but you had no choice but to choose those things. You had to. You had no choice. You were forced by God to make the choices you made. The gods you call God were forced by God to do what they did. You are being forced by God to do what you're doing right now, as I am being forced by God to say and do what I'm doing right now. It is no entity, it is no being, it is no fractalized aspect of infinity. It is the all. So, you can either start behaving like aspects of the all to each other, or you can get the fuck off this planet. Or it can be crushed. Your choice. And you can show that choice through your actions. Not your words, not your empty promises, not your here you go, just kidding, not your I love you because you're my child, but I'm not going to do anything to show you I actually love you. Not because, oh, that person fathered my children and I can't break up with them. I'm just going to let him abuse me and cheat on me. Not because of that. And then the other ones with the fucking blaming the government, the politicians, and the secret societies, and the being targeted individuals. Like, fucking get over yourselves. No, none of those excuses anymore. You can't keep doing stupid shit anymore and then saying God chose to you. Now that you've been absolved of the past crimes, and you're choosing to look into the present moment and create your future, and co-create with Source and the gods as an equal and as a respectable and respected and respecting focused point of consciousness. What do you want now? Do you still want someone else's things? Do you still want to pretend to be someone else and disgrace the glory of God within you? Because you're not good enough, so you have to pretend to be this reader here or reader somewhere else? Really? You're that lacking in your own personality that you can't even pick your own fucking hair color. Aww. And some of you are pretending to be friends and best friends and lovers while you're planning long cons and holding receipts, and you measure how much gas it costs to see people in your own family. and you avoid seeing them because of money, but then you go and spend that money somewhere else, like McDonald's, or on a Netflix account, or on a fucking useless trinket somewhere that you throw in the garbage after a week. But that money could have been used to see your family, to show someone you care about them, to make a donation to an elderly person, to go and buy somebody food, to go and clean up your street. But instead, some of you are watching some reality TV somewhere probably, or complaining at the news, or cheering for a football team, while all of eternity goes on behind you. And then some of you call to this vessel and say, oh no, she's crazy, she's schizophrenic, she's multiple personalities, oh, she smells, or her teeth are rotting, oh, no one loves her, oh yeah, she got abused by all these people, oh, she projects all the time, oh yeah, every one of her readings is about herself reading herself, yeah, it's so funny, grab your popcorn, girl. You think I don't hear you? Some of you are having sex with your husbands and wives and imagining this reader here holding this card, and your husbands and wives don't even know it. But you do. Some of you are dabbling in this reader's bank accounts, which is only one, by the way, since it's so easy. Why bother having two? You're gonna fuck with them anyway. You even fuck with this person's food money. And then you're like, oh, why is this happening to my world? Oh, it must be Celeste casting spells. Nope. Celeste ain't doing shit but playing Lord of the Rings, taking care of a puppy, crying her ass off, injecting herself with fucking hormones, crying her ass off, working out, having the time of her fucking life, exercising even more and more every day, eating healthier, crying, singing, smoking a lot of weed, gardening, walking around the block, coming back home, cleaning, organizing, redecorating, playing Lord of the Rings, playing with the dog, playing with the cat, redecorating, cooking, cleaning, creating something, posting a video, meditating throughout all of it, playing a video game, watching something on Netflix, meditating, reading a book, writing something, daydreaming, imagining. All the while the soul is doing this. And you guys are busy insulting her. Okay. Some of you are doing this to yourselves. Some of you are doing this to others. Some of your mothers are doing this to you. Some of your fathers are doing this to you. Some of your uncles are doing this to their grandparents and their parents. And you guys don't even know. Some of you working in security positions are doing shit that you should not be allowed anywhere near security. Some of you people doing the stalking and spying are being watched and you don't even know it. Some of you being the hackers are being traced so fucking hard you don't even know. They're just waiting. Fuck with this person one more time. I dare you. Go ahead. There are very few of you who are protected by this dome of common sense, of wisdom, of sovereignty, because you don't mess with anyone. You don't mess with anyone's life. You don't mess with anyone's karma. You do good everywhere, even in your imaginations. You imagine good things happening the minute you imagine something bad. You're like, oh shit, no, we can't have that. Let's imagine flowers instead, and giving people flowers just to wash that negative imagination out. You bless people, you pray for people, you cast blessings on people's lives. You glorify their names, you sing to the flowers and the birds and tell people what they did for you that was good. And then those things carry everywhere throughout creation. And then others of you, like a stain on the earth. So much hope, so much potential wasted on pettiness when you could have been godly. Some of you chose to be petty. Some of you see a goddess. Some of you see bat wings and horns. Some of you see a human holding a ball. Some of you see Sophia herself. Some of you see me in there. Some of you see yourselves. Some of you see Mary Magdalene. Some of you see some actress. But it's all you. It's all me. It's all everything. It's all this table. It's all whatever. It's all the I am. And the thing that made the I am. And the thing that made that. And 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 that. Accept it. You are an aspect of all there is, was, and ever will be. And the hand that you're reaching for is already there for you. Just allow yourself to feel what it's like to feel it, to accept it. And when that hand pulls you up, or pulls you through that gate, or helps you guide, or points the way, or gives you something that helps you and changes your life based on what you choose to do with it, when it drops something in your hand so that you can do something. When someone gives you like $1 million, how are you going to spend it to better your life and help the lives of others? Nothing grandiose, but for your life. What are you going to do? Build a coffee shop? A rose, like a flower shop? Community gardens? What? How are you going to help yourself be happy for the rest of your life with that money? With that person? With that place or thing? If everyone is doing to you what they're doing to you to get you to be somewhere where you can accept this and feel grateful for it, or to be able to give this to someone that needs it, if all this has taken place for that, what can you do? Let it nourish you. You're a part of the circle of life. They need you to thrive just as much as you need them to thrive. Everything works together. All things work for our good. So let them cry. Cry yourself. Let them be fake. Oh, that's not a moon, that's a slice of cheese. Whoops. Let them nourish the earth. Let the stains be there. But let things grow and change and evolve in your life. Change what you're doing every day. Change what you're eating. Change how much you work out. Change who you're talking to. Little things. Change what you're wearing. Most importantly, change how you're feeling. If you catch yourself thinking about people in your life, I don't care who they are, bring that energy back to yourself. Protect your energy. If you catch yourself being worried about how you're going to do this, it's okay. Remember, there can either be ravens pecking away at you or seagulls mocking you. But still, it's you in the storm, and you are the storm. And this spark, this danger you think there is, this chaos, this fear, that's your gift to help you push this barren self into this. You see that? Wait, there it is. She's like, ta-da! This one's like, gotta do it. Push, push, push. Just a little change. Push. Oh, the crown. I see the crown. The baby's crowning. Ah. Ta-da! Congratulations. It's a new you. You see how it looks like there's two people looking into the orb? Remember what I told you earlier about seeing the scales, and I was looking at it like a moment in time? But we had to go through all this to get to this. You see her in there? You'll get there. Some of you will get there. Some of you will come out of that. Others of you have already gone through it. Others of you are there. But you're going to have to let that balloon go too. And whatever you were wearing. You got to find a new style, a new sense of self, a new identity, a new you. Because a lot of who you've been has been influenced by other people. That's why you needed the darkness to wash it all away. You thought it was dark, but you were just being blocked off from the light of others. So they wouldn't influence what you're reproducing within yourself. Instead, you were taught discernment, what is and what isn't yours. Remember I told you earlier I saw that woman with the planets over her head? This one has them by her heart. One day you're going to have to let them go to go back up there. You have to deal with that now. Because when that day comes and you have to do it, you can't hold on to it. It'll destroy you. It'll absolutely destroy you if you hold on to that pain. Because you'll have known yourself innately you should have let it go a long time. And the longer you hold on to it, the longer it's hurting and becoming more difficult to fix. Let it be. Better days are on the way. If you would simply look around you and realize you're already there. You're already there. She's already taking care of you. There's nothing to look to. You're already there. You just have to choose better. If you wronged people, make it right. Make it right. If you can help people, help people. Stop looking at each other and saying, oh, we can't help them, it's their karma. No, your karma is looking at someone and seeing that they need help and seeing what you're going to do. That's one of the tests for you. Surprise, some of you have failed it. Some of you passed it. Some of you are being given what is it called? The summer school exam. Oh, the reading's over, by the way. I hope that helps. I'm going to go. I can't believe it's been an hour again. The chair's squeaking, just scoop them up. He's such a good boy. I don't know if you guys know what the hell is going on with puppies or dogs, but if one of you does know, let me know any kind of home remedies you guys have. His left eyelid is a little puffy. I looked online and it said to use a warm compress, and I tried it for a little bit, but it doesn't seem to really be helping much. So I don't know if you guys can tell me what to try. He bonks his head on here. Listen. Whenever he runs through there he is. He keeps trying to run underneath it. He bonks his head, and I think that's how his little eyelid got like that, but I'm really not sure. He doesn't scratch at it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's kind of been like that since I got him, and it's been about 5 days. It hasn't gotten worse or better. It's just kind of a little puffy. I don't know if it's normal for puppies or not. But everywhere I'm looking, it just says to use a warm, wet compress. So I'm just doing that once or twice a day. Anyway, if you guys know, let me know. I obviously can't show you because the friggin' focus on this camera is off. And when I try to get something close to it to focus it, you see how it's like blurry. Even if I'm trying to hold like one of the cards in the screen. Anyway, I'm gonna go. Have a good day.